Okay, so you were saying that somebody cheated on.
Yes, then I went to Southeast Asia just because I needed a break from my business because I was very discouraged.
Okay.
And when I was there, I tried all the food in Southeast Asia: Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, and I began to really like it. And I'd cooked my whole life. When I was a teenager, I was cooking in a work camp. But anyway, I came home to Vancouver, and I wanted to keep cooking that food, but there was no place to buy it.
Oh.
So I kept looking for it, and I found it here and there, and different places had a few things. And I went to the market most weeks, a big public market in Vancouver, and I kept saying to myself, someone should start a store here that sells this food from Southeast Asia. And after thinking that 20 times, I decided, I'll do it. So I opened a specialty food store with food from Southeast Asia. I still had the design firm. And I had people running the store. I was only there on weekends. And people kept saying, oh, this is great, you have all this food, but you should have food from China. You should have food from Japan. You should sell food from Mexico. Mm-hmm. So we started adding all of those things until we had this store that sold all of the food that you couldn't get anywhere else.
Okay.
Yeah. And then people didn't know how to use the food,
Yeah.
so I started telling people how to cook it in the store. And then people said, you should start doing cooking classes.
That's great.
So I started doing cooking classes, and they were very popular. And then various chefs I knew said, oh, you should join the Professional Chefs Union Society, which I did. And then I started teaching other chefs, and I sold the business 4 months ago.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm down here looking to buy a house.
Okay.
And I'm not going to do any more work, I think, but maybe.
So, at the end of this story, do you like the way you things came out?
I think so. You know, it's interesting because I've never had, well, I have enough money now, but when I was young, I didn't have very much money. So I drove a truck because I needed money to pay the rent and to buy the groceries. And I tended to do things just because I was sort of pushed by circumstances to do them. And that's great. There's good things about that because I've led a pretty interesting life. But the downside is you never really find out what you want to do when you grow up because you just haven't had a chance to do it. So now that I'm old, I can figure out what I want to do when I grow up.
Oh, that's
Okay?
nice. Thank you so
That's my
much.
story.
A very interesting story.